Hey guys, what's up? So today we are going to look at the significance of the Astral World in Berserk. The reason why this is such an important piece for us to understand is because it might be the key to Guts' salvation, the key to him defeating the God Hand. So this whole thought came about by all the videos I've been making and reading comments from you guys. So again, thank you for all the great comments out there, and if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to think about these ideas. But I believe that by us understanding the Astral World in Berserk and understanding how Guts and his team members may be trying to figure out how to defeat the God Hand, we could kind of come to some type of conclusions and make up our own theories as to how this might be possible. So we know that Guts has a behelit. Most of us would assume that the behelit would be used by one of the team members to become an apostle to get the power to help Guts fight against the God Hand members. But what if it is possible to use the behelit instead of summoning God Hand members to make someone an apostle, to use it and flip it, to take a group of people or even an army to where the God Hand resides so you can fight them on their own plane, the Astral World, or deep inside the Astral World. Now hear me out, this is going to be a crazy theory. So I had to do some research on the manga itself and also reading like Berserk Wiki to make sure I had the stuff correct. So some of the things I'm going to take from the wiki, which I'm going to link below, and I'm going to piece together this video so you can see what I'm thinking and what my thought process is. So according to the Berserk Wiki, the Astral World, also known as the Afterlife or Netherworld, is a realm in the microcosmic trinity of Berserk, overlapping the physical world and the ideal world. And it is a plane in which ethereal beings reside, the world of spirits. Remember, when the world of Berserk started, Guts was the only person we understood or knew to have the ability to see like fairies and all these things, right? But as time passed in Berserk, we saw that, Griffith or Femto at the time went through all this trouble to cause the world to collapse with using, the Emperor's body to make the world tree. And that brought fantasy and reality back together. So this overlapping was caused. So regular people can now see spirits. And this used to be the case way back in the day. But remember, this religion took over, the Holy See doctrine, they took over, and because of their belief system, it kind of caused regular humans to forget about spirits and believing in spirits and deities like that, and they were unable to see the spiritual beings. This is significant. Griffith is going through all this trouble to link these worlds together. So is it possible that something happened in the past, right, with the God Hand members and everything, and they were trapped in the Astral World because of the faith or belief system of humanity, or pretty much the gates to the astral plane has been closed off? And this seems kind of crazy, but it's kind of like it makes sense when you think about it, because as we saw, God Hand members could kind of affect the plane of man based on the events that are going on, with, especially when there's like a lot of evil and heinous acts going on, right? But they can't really stay in our world for too long. But it seems like Griffith is slowly but surely tearing down the barriers to go to different points in the astral realm, right? So, okay, the astral world is broken down into like these different layers. You have the shallow layer, the quintuple, am I saying that right? Jeez, I know you guys will correct me. All right, the profound layer and the abyss. But based on what was spoken between Flora and Guts, the conversation they were having, we understand that the God Hand members, they reside in the lower depths of the astral plane or astral world, as well as like all these elemental spirits and all these powerful beings. And the thing about this place is that no person could enter this area with an ego, right? Or in this case, like a regular body. In order to get into these realms, or in order to get this deep as a human, you have to be summoned there by the God Hand. So if we look at the behelit as it is right now, the behelit acts as a gateway, so to speak. We see that in the last chapter of Berserk, we saw that the Skull Knight appeared and he witnessed what was going on between Casca and Guts. And the chapter ended, right, with the Skull Knight stating, well, not the Skull Knight, but in the chapter itself, it was read right beneath the Skull Knight. The Knight appears as the recurring nightmare widens the gulf between the two. What are his intentions? Now, we know that Berserk, at this point in time in the story, should be coming to a head, right? And that means, like, if there's going to be an ending to this saga, it has to be coming up somewhat soon, right? Or we have to see some sort of ability or something to create a chance for Guts to defeat Griffith and probably free Casca from this nightmare once and for all. So yes, it's gonna, like, in my theory, my belief, I think that the story is coming to a head. So with that being said, if I was thinking, okay, how could they go forward with this? Maybe using the Skull Knight's sword as an example, right? Maybe a key, because we saw that Skull Knight is able to travel between dimensions with his sword to a certain extent. But what if there's a way to use that ability using the behelit that Guts has to dive even further and deeper into the Astral World? And the reason for this is because if Guts truly wants to defeat the God Hand, he needs to have he has to fight them on their own plane. And okay, in their realm, as it states in the wiki and as we could see for ourselves, we know that the God Hand are practically gods. They are practically unkillable and undefeatable, right? But what we saw in this whole saga in Casca's mind and everything is that in the world of dreams, humans could have the ability to fight against impossible odds. We saw this with Farnes and Shariki, right? They were able to summon powerful entities like the Fire Wheel, even Flora at one point, to help fight against all these apostles and monsters and penis-like monsters in this world, right? And someone like Guts, if his mind was to be allowed to go into this dreamscape, if you will, and fight against beings on the Astral World, as crazy as his mind is and as, rat-filled as his mind is, Guts might be able to summon all sorts of monsters and abilities that we haven't even seen yet, because he is so filled with rage for Griffith and the God Hand and everything that's happening in Eclipse. He might be able to fight them on their own level in that plane, and especially since he wears the Berserker armor, there might be a secondary level of which he and his id could use the powers of that to unleash the havoc and rage they need to against the God Hand. So either way, we know that Guts is the key to the salvation of the world. He has gone through so much, and the fact that Skull Knight follows so closely behind him, Skull Knight obviously knows something that we don't. We know that Guts has a weapon that's able to hurt astral beings, and maybe going further into the abyss with that weapon right now would strengthen it even further, allowing Guts to actually kill those beings on their own plane. So that's just the thoughts I was having on that. And this topic has, it's so many possibilities. And I think I have to make more videos on it because, again, there's different parts of the Astral World. And it's just so many possibilities with it, because even as we saw, Silk and Farnes, they are able to travel in their astral bodies and do astral projections. And maybe the only way to fight these people is in your spirit form or in your dreamscape. So you guys let me know what you think in comment below. I believe something has to happen. I feel like some type of transformation or some type of change in Guts has to happen big time in order to give him a chance to fight against these beings, as he is right now. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate all the likes and support you guys give. And I'm going to try to do more videos consistently.